Well, hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to round 5 of the North American Grand Prix GT2 Championship, coming to you live from Interlagos in Brazil. I'm joined by my broadcast partner here tonight, Brad Maris. Brad, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Al. Nothing fires me up more than that intro music, Al. What they might call bump music, huh?
It's probably one of the best in the business, but yeah. I'm really excited about this one, Brad. Fifth round qualifying session. Quali 2 just ended here. Everybody's in, ready to go. The grid got set and expeditiously, and very happy to see that. We're off to a great start.
Yeah, a pretty rare sight, really, to have that server fired up and all the cats herded and in order in a short fashion, so that's good. I see, Al, that we just had a little bit of weather pop up. Now, that may not affect us for the race, but maybe a little ominous sign rolling in here. I just noticed.
Yeah, I actually caught that as well. But, well, speaking of weather, we had quite an event last week around the Super Pole event. Eiran Parsons taking pole, John Luden qualifying second. Those two guys guaranteeing their top spots. They finished 1 and 2 respectively in the qualifying race. But those conditions were dry and certainly not like it was last time we ran here, the last 2-hour event back in, what was it, January of 2014. That was a wet affair. Went the distance, 70 laps. And, well, let's see. This track can hold some very, this track can hold some surprises in terms of weather. So hope, so far the conditions have been okay. But you never know what to expect at this track.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, as you recall, and our viewers no doubt recall, we did have a little bit of damp conditions to start that Super Bowl qualifying there last week. Caught a few guys out, none more so maybe than Chris Moses perhaps, but Chris Moses actually did work his way up in that qualifying race, started third tonight, of course behind John Luden, as mentioned. So, too bad in the end for Chris Moses. A couple guys slipping off there, though, that qualifying race. Thiago Canola, of course. We assumed him to have very good speed, but didn't work out for him in that qualifying race. And Jolacor slipping off the pace as well. So some speedy guys in the middle of this pack looking to come forward.
Yeah, there certainly are. And well, I'm not sure if you mentioned Pareto, but that's one notable finish, 5th last week, but incurring a penalty for a first lap incident last week. So he's going to be starting from the back, our championship leader.
Yeah, big news there. And you know what turns out happened? He accidentally downshifted, had a mechanical little gremlin on that car, actually downshifted into first, which is what caused him to turn into that turn 1 a little early and cause a fracas. But in any event, the penalty was still on him for sure, and he will have some work to do tonight. But it's a 2-hour race, and maybe that, along with some strategy, will allow him to move up.
Well, let's take a quick look at the track map here tonight, Brad. Interlagos circuit, 15 corners, very tight middle sector there, and you know, the first sector, the center S's, turns 1, 2, and 3, very critical, but the middle part of this track and turn 12, crucial here.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the middle sector here is where most of the damage is going to be done in terms of overall lap-to-lap pace here tonight for these guys. That's really where they're going to want to get the car working the best, of course. And as mentioned, that turn 12 coming up the hill, also critical, and no more so for the power cars that can really take advantage of that long straight, which is not quite straight at all. But yeah, absolutely right. And we saw last week those power cars really sticking the business to some of the lesser powered cars. Recall, I believe it was Mike Monahan really holding up John Huston, some of those others in that Panos. And boy, if those guys in the Panos there, John Canola and Mike Monahan, have got their handling figured out in that second sector, they actually could be a factor here tonight.
Yeah, they most certainly can, but Canola ended up DNF in that race, but We'll see how that turns out. Those of you tuning in tonight, you can follow live timing here if you're watching on Twitch. Bathurst banner, you can click on that for the live timing. Obviously, we're not at Bathurst. I've been trying to change that picture all day, but Twitch is acting up for some reason. So you can Twitch. You can click on that to bring up the banner, or if you're watching from the NAGP site, just click on the GTR2 live timing and follow your favorite driver from there. Real quickly before we get going here tonight, so warm-up session's coming to a close here. Let's touch on the championship standings here tonight, Brad. So after the qualifying race last week, Pareto did not score any points. He remains in first with 73. Montgomery Jr., he's also did not score points with 68. But Parsons did get a little bump. He's up. He's running third with 63. Chris Moses in fourth. He picked up a point last week with 51. His teammate with 47 in fifth. Now in the team classification, PMR, that's Chris Moses and Matt Taylor. They're in first with 98. T-Brock Dam Bam GT2. They're currently second with 90 points. That's Parsons and we have an incident going into the pit lane. Parsons and John Houston. They're second. 05 Motorsports. David Poole and John Luden, they are third. Team Columbia Newies, Pareto and Jaime Moore fourth, and Desert Dog Racing, Montgomery Jr. and Kurt Chandler in fifth with 81. So really tight in the team classification, Brad, as well as the drivers standing.
Yeah, nobody's been able to pull away yet. It's been kind of an odd season. Drivers have fallen off, had bad races, but have managed to claw back, and it's still up in the air. By this time, we're starting to gain a little bit of clarification, and somebody really starts to put a stamp on the season, but it hasn't happened yet, and that is all the better for us because you know how much we like those driver team championships, and we're far from done in this thing. So everybody holding on, and it's going to be a question of who's going to blink first and make the big mistake.
Okay, Brad, so last week we saw some times, we saw a couple guys in the 31s, most guys running minute 32 lap times. Probably expect a little, the guys are going to be running a little bit more fuel here tonight, but lap time should hover around that area. But the big key tonight is the strategy. Some guys, well, you did some digging around there. Some guys can two-stop, some guys are going to be forced to three-stop.
Yeah, that's right, and so that strategy will play out, but a little difference here also tonight with the length of the race and the stints in particular. You mentioned that these tires are going to wear more than they did last week's qualifying event, just that 30-minute race, and so those lap times are going to expand for some of these drivers. They'll get slower and slower throughout over the course of the event.
All right, so we have moved over to the race. Let's run down the starting lineup here tonight. Starting from pole, Eiran Parsons in first, John Luden second, Chris Moses third, David Poole fourth, Jaime Moore is going to start fifth.
Yeah, nice start from Marty Eiran in sixth. Rodrigo Triana will take seventh, and Jonathan Cuppett in eighth, John Houston ninth, Gregory Myers in 10th.
Halili's going to start 11th, Joe LaCour 12th, Mike Trussell 13th, Matt Taylor 14th, and Ryan Schleif 15th.
Mike Monahan starts 16th, David Rowley 17th, Kevin Miller 18th, Dan Wilkerson 19th, Mike Greetrix 20th.
Honeycutt's going to start 21st, Montgomery Jr. 22nd, Mascarelli 23rd, Jared Keene 24th, and Brian Story is going to start 25th.
Yeah, Curtis Chandler starts 26th, Juan Monroy 27th, Thiago Canola starts 28th, Felipe Triana 29th, Andres Prieto with that penalty in 30th.
Calderon 31st, Ken Rodriguez 32nd, Connor Swain 33rd, Gup Douglas 34th, White 35th, Johnny Mack's going to be 36th, and Alex Scott is going to start 37th. We just lost somebody. Not sure who that was. But we got just over 20 seconds to go here before we go green. Brad, what's your prediction here? You think Parsons is going to be able to hold off John Luden, who was on a charge last week?
We saw John Luden have good pace on Aaron Parsons later in that stint, and with the longer tire stints here, John Luden may have an advantage, but don't count out the veteran experience of Chris Moses or David Poole, Al.
As David Poole just at the last second gets on the grid as we're about to go green from Interlagos. We're off. This time a good start, sluggish start for Chris Moses. Parsons with a heck of a start. It's going to lead the field into turn one. Jaime Moore might slip into, he's alongside Luden. Oh, Luden a little shaky there into turn one, and oh, he's going to hang on to that spot as Moore tucks in right behind him. As they head down into turn four, Aaron Parsons continues to lead. Jaime Moore having a look on the inside of Luden. Nice battle here. Luden hanging on to that position. That Viper is no slouch, but Luden's going to hang on to second. Chris Moses has been shuffled back to sixth after that poor start. Marty up to fifth. We got Joe LaCour and Cuppet up to ninth. Those two were side by side. Monahan's jumped up to 13th. They run down the field here. Looks like a pretty decent start, Brad.
Yeah, we unfortunately had a couple offs and a quick retirement for Kevin Miller here around turn 5. Other than that, a pretty clean start. It was Thiago Canola we have lost, Al. Right before the start, Thiago Canola out.
And Parsons already checking out.
Yeah, he may need to, Al, if John Luden shows that type of late pace in a stint that he did last week.
On board with Jaime Moore here, really putting a lot of pressure on John Luden early on in this race, lap 2. Chris Moses has gotten around Marty Eiran for 5th. Take a look.
That's an early bonus for Chris.
Yeah, take a look further back here. You got Matt Taylor. Matt Taylor having a look on, I believe that was Greg Myers, yeah, for 12th. Prieto up to 18th already in a lap. He's made up about 15 positions.
Heck of a start for Andres Prieto. Also the very speedy Alex White coming through the field, now up 24th from the back.
On board with Prieto. Looks like he's tucked up behind, I believe that's Juan Monroy. Just ahead of them is David Raleigh, as this field is still really bunched up.
Boy, didn't have much time to really check on the weather conditions, Al. Actually, it is dry as of course, but it is very hot out there, 115 degrees, so these guys are going to have to be very careful on these tires. They don't want to overcook them early.
On board with Mike Trussler trying to run down Ryan Schleif in 10th. I'm sorry, that was Cuppet in 10th, so Cuppet's fallen back a couple positions. A lot of tire smoke going into turn 1. Further up, we got Joe LaCour on Triana. Joe LaCour running in 9th, trying to get by Triana.
Joe LaCour for picking up a couple spots early. Started this race at 12th.
Marty Eiran right up in front. Joe LaCour's teammate running in 6th. You see a little further up, Chris Moses starting to put some pressure on David Poole for 4th.
Yeah, David Poole, no doubt, playing it pretty conservative at this point. He's going to have a big advantage in the pit stop rotation here on his tires and fuel.
Back up front here, Jaime Moore looks like he's lost touch slightly with John Luden. He's fallen prey now to David Poole in 4th. And Chris Moses is starting to catch up with these guys. Back on board here with Joe LaCour. Triana now. Looks like he's got a run on Marty down the front straight. Wow, Triana really had a great exit off that final corner. Gets past Marty with ease. We got a couple guys dropping already.
And one of those was Kevin Miller. He was already out of this event.
Alex Scott running 25th. He's got Lou all over the back of him. Honeycutt Ken Rodriguez back in 33rd in that Aston. And Montgomery Jr. languishing back in 34th. Not sure what happened to Salem, but having his struggles early here, Brett.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. Didn't catch it, but I just saw that on timing and scoring myself. So Salem Montgomery Jr. started toward the back of this event due to last week's qualifying race, and it's not making any progress forward. He's forcing a full cog through that Desert Dogs racing.
Or now with David Poole.
I was just on board with David Poole myself, trying to hound down Jaime Moore. What a good start Jaime Moore has made for himself here. He'll be really looking forward to trying to hang on to this spot for as long as he can going into these pit stops.
Yeah, we neglected to mention the run he had last week, starting 5th. Had a great start to this race, battling for that second spot, but has settled into 3rd. Under some intense pressure now from David Poole. Let's look further back. Triana made his way past Marty a lap ago. Starting to put some ground on him. John Houston now all over the back of Ian Jolicoeur for that 8th spot. Houston taking a look on the inside, but is not going to be able to get it done. Ooh, maybe he will. Looks like Ian might have had a little bit of a moment. But Ian looks like he's going to hang on to that position.
Yeah, hanging on to it for now, and I tell you, I keep watching.
Ooh, Ian takes it wide and gives up that spot to... Oh, and Ian lost it. Oh, he's going to fall way back. Wow, that's unlike Jolicoeur there to make that type of mistake.
That was actually teammate Marty Eiran out.
Oh, I apologize. Oh, you're right. Yeah, Marty. Still, Marty, unlike him to make that kind of mistake, he got caught up on that curb there, and once he hit the grass, he just lost the rear of that car. He tried to save it, but tough break for Marty. So Prieto now has climbed up to 13th. So tremendous start from Prieto. Monahan's running 14th. Monroy and Marty rejoins in 16th, still in the points.
Not sure if you're on a field rundown or not, Al, but should update you. Chris Moses is taking a look on David Poole here, actually, was side by side through the Senna S's, coming down the that first straight.
We just picked that up. Chris Moses and David Poole. David Poole flashing the lights. They remain side by side through 4, 5. Wow, great battle here for 4th. And it looks like Moses is going to get the pass made. Ooh, Poole's going to... Ooh, Poole makes a mistake now, gets caught up on the curb. But he recovers.
That is rare.
Yeah, he recovers and loses 2 spots, but falls back to 7th.
Let me tell you something right now, Al. The heat continues to climb, and that was exactly what caught David Poole out there. Those rear tires are getting a little too hot. All these guys are starting to lose some grip already.
Yeah, 118-degree Fahrenheit track temp. Well, David Poole falls back to 7th. Still a lot of racing yet to be done here, Brad, so still plenty of time for Poole to make up that position.
Yeah, no doubt, but this really will be tough. This track already puts a lot of pressure on the tires as it is, and with this heat, these guys are really going to have to be careful because it is only going to get worse and worse from here.
On board with Matt Taylor. Taking a look on the inside of Mike Trussler. And Taylor looks like he gets it done. Trussler saw him there and gave him the room.
Yeah, both PMR guys coming through the field at a pretty good clip.
On board with Juan Monroy in the Audi R8. Trying to take the battle here to Mike Monahan running in 14. Little touch of the brakes there early for Mikey.
Yeah, of course, teammate, saw some extra behind. Teammate, Gianni Canola, of course, already out of this event. Now, it's worth noting, John Luden already starting to take back some time for first place leader Eiran Parsons. I'm going to keep my eye on that, Al.
Field is still very bunched up from, I'd say, positions 7 all the way to 16, 17.
Oh, no doubt.
Coppett running in 8th. He's got Matt Taylor all over his rear. Trussler just got past. He's in 10th.
Oh, David Poole's made a mistake, Al. David Poole slipping through the field.
Yeah, I just picked that up, Brad. I missed that.
Oh, timing and scoring glitch. For
Oh,
David
okay,
Poole.
all right.
We saw that last week.
So Poole gets by Joe LaCour for 5th. Yeah, there is a little glitch in that part of the track. So Joe LaCour back down to 6th. So let's do a quick rundown here. We got Coppett running in 8th, followed by Taylor, Trussler, Prato, and Greg Myers in 12th. Monahan still being hounded by Monroy. See if Monroy can get this pass made on Monahan. And looks like they're gonna a little touch and go right now. Mike Monahan actually may have the advantage. Ooh, they rub side by side there. They continue to battle here side by side, and Mike hangs on to the position. What a great fight here between Monahan and Monroy.
Yeah, Monroy was a few positions ahead, but has made some mistakes in that Audi, and I suspect that the Audi rear tires are suffering a little bit of overheating.
Marty Eiran has fallen back to 14th. Triana now up to 16th, followed by his Rodrigo Triana and Kurt Chandler in 18th. Behind them we got Wilkerson, Ryan Schleif. Ooh, once again some damage to the back of that Corvette. So not sure what happened to Schleif, but he has fallen back to 20th. Alex Scott back in 21st. Calderon running in 22nd. We got Mascarelli, Connor Swain. Connor Swain unable to participate last week, but he is back here tonight, so he is duking it out with Lou Mascarelli for 23rd. And what a fight. We got McIntyre and Alex White all duking it out here for this 23rd position.
Yeah, one hell of a fight. Real quickly, I'll give you an update. David Rowley, unfortunately, was the guy that has just taken a DNF.
So Connor Swain makes the pass. Is trying to make the pass on Lou. He gets it done, but Alex White might pass the two of them. As, Lou blocking the inside on White. Very defensive maneuver there. Yeah, I'm not sure either, but still hasn't been able to make his charge through the field just yet. But quite the defensive maneuver by Lou on White. That's going to be frustrating. Got McIntyre there in the Mercedes. On board with Johnny Mack.
As you do that, real quick updates. Closing in on Parsons for first. Moses climbing into Jaime Moore for third. In fact, Chris Moses just got through for third place out.
All right, looks like a bit of a mistake there by Lou. White's going to try and make his way around the long way. And he gets the pass made for the moment. Wow. That Cadillac's got a lot of power, but I got to give Lou some credit there. There's some tight racing going on. They stayed off one another. So yeah, back up front here, Parsons and John Luden separated, well, you see it, by under a second between these two guys. Chris Moses has gotten past Jaime Moore for third, and he's got Luden in sight, so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Chris Moses can do from here, especially after having to fight so hard to get through the field here and putting some extra strain on those tires. It'll be interesting to see what he's got left to push with in this tire stint.
So after making that pass on Moore, Moses hasn't pulled away just yet. Jaime Moore is still hanging on to the back of that BMW.
Yeah, and as you watch that battle, the battle over 8, that's really heated up now. So quite a few drivers still involved in that fight for those top 10 positions.
So we picked that up. Matt Taylor in 8th. We got Cuppet and Prieto now up to 10th. What a tremendous run here from Andre, starting from nearly the back of the field, just marching his way through. About to pick up a position, it looks like, on Cuppet, on board with Prieto.
Yeah, Andres Prieto's march through the field there has started to be stymied somewhat as he has run into faster and faster traffic. So, of course, for him, he's going to have more trouble with his front tires as opposed to rear.
Take a look on the inside of Cuppet and gets the pass made. So he's up to 9th. He's got Matt Taylor up ahead of him. So Cuppet, after a few dismal races here leading up to this Interlagos round, he's having a good run here early on at this event. He's had some really bad luck the last few races.
Boy, they've really, well, Cuppet has really found his legs here in this Z07, or I'm sorry, C7 here at Interlagos, but not so much for teammate Ryan Schleidt, the quote-unquote team leader here. Ryan Schleidt slipping off the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, after a couple pole positions and just having a tough event here for Ryan, but I'm sure he'll bounce back. Keep an eye on Trussler here as he still hanging on to the back of Cuppet. Greg Myers still running in 12th, as well as Monroy. Monroy has made his way past Mike Monahan for 13th, so Monroy, good run here. He's got some open track ahead of him. He's going to be able to catch up to Greg Myers and duke it out with the rest of these guys. Let's take a look further back. David Poole, who's running third, has fallen all the way back to 17th, so not sure what happened to David.
Yeah, another timing and scoring glitch, I think, Al. It's just popping up on David Poole. He's the only driver out there, so that's interesting. Hopefully his connection stays stable.
We got Alex Scott back in 20th, Calderon 21st. So White has gotten past Connor Swain for 22nd. McIntyre 25th. Lou Mascarelli has now fallen back to 26th. Behind him, we got Greatrix, Gup Douglas, and a whole train of cars here. Back in 29th between Dustin Honeycutt, Montgomery Jr. We got Jared Keene in the Sunred. Who was Gup? Gup nearly took it wide there on Greatrix. We got Honeycutt. No contact there between Honeycutt and Montgomery Jr. Montgomery Jr. gets a pass made. Rodriguez back in 32nd, and Halili running in the rear in 33rd. So back out front, you see the gap there. Luden. This is basically what we saw last week, Brad. These two guys pretty much running nose to tail for the entire 30 minutes of that sprint race, and
Yeah, well, I think it's advantage John Luden at the moment. So John Luden turning some very consistent laps, just a tenth or two quicker than Eiran Parsons per lap, and now it has really come together. Chris Moses right behind him also showing some pretty good pace, a bit better pace than Eiran Parsons. So if these guys do get to fighting here up in the lead for a sustained period of time, Moses should be right back up on these guys. All of them who previously in the 32, now starting to slip into the high 33s. So tire degradation beginning to rear its head.
So we're looking at 86 laps max. Running lap 13 right now. Just trying to do a quick calculation here.
Yeah, looking, I'm not sure what you're working on, but we should be looking around 77, 78 laps.
So some of these guys who can two-stop it, that's going to be a tough chore, Brad, to be able to two-stop this race and still maintain any kind of pace, especially late in the stint with this heat.
Yeah, well, that's the deal. It is so damn hot out there. The guys at two-stop will be coming in around lap 26. All the rest are going to be coming in around lap 20 if they want to divide it up equally in terms of tire stints. So if these guys aren't coming in on lap 20, look for them to be trying to make it to lap 26.
Well, Chris Moses maintains that position over Jaime Moore. David Poole, oh, okay, there he is. David Poole running in 5th. Okay, I thought he was back at 16th, so that was strange. All right, so Chris Moses made that pass on Jaime Moore several laps ago, but Jaime Moore still hanging on there, equaling, for the most part, Moses' pace, as is David Poole. Joe LaCour, a little distance between him and Poole, as well as him and John Houston behind. So this is an interesting fight here. So PMR, Matt Taylor and Chris Moses are in the lead in the team championship, and Moses running in 3rd, Matt Taylor in 8th. A little bit of lag there for Taylor. Eiran Parsons, our leader, and John Houston here in 7th. These two guys are currently 2nd in the team championship. So interesting battle here, Brad. So these two fights, both up front and for 7th, are very critical in terms of the team championship.
Yeah, they sure are, and you know, it's hard to say what these guys are going to employ strategy-wise. So they have a lot of things going on in their heads right now, and how they're going to try to make the rest of this race play out for them. So we have positions here out on track. These gaps are going to open up, and this is going to become more of a strategy race as that happens. So just how much you want to push here early in this stint and how much you want to save is really going to count toward the positions as they come in toward the end of this event.
Juan Monroy has caught up to Greg Myers and really putting the pressure on Greg. We got Cuppet right ahead of Greg as well, so Myers in the McLaren. Cuppet has, I think he was running up as high as 7th or 8th, and slowly as the race progresses, he's been dropping some positions here. He's been fending off Greg Myers for most of this first stint, but now that Monroy has joined up with these guys, things could turn out a little different here. Monroy's going to be looking to get by.
It sure can. I tell you, it's kind of a tale of two races there. Most of the guys in the top 10 are really kind of starting to figure on some of that strategy stuff and how they're going to play it. Beyond the top 10, these guys are just still going after positions and really trying to establish a good position heading into the first round of their stops. Yeah, Chris Moses now starting to slip a bit off the pace, and you're absolutely right. Jaime Moore is not letting go of his bumper just yet. Boy, David Poole has joined that fight now as well. Yeah, David Poole definitely holding the best pace of all the front runners at the moment. So still well and truly into the 32s for David Poole. He's showing great late pace late stint pace. As that temperature continues to climb. Well, I am so impressed with all of the top 10 drivers. Really playing it cautious, but
ooh, big mistake from Moses. Big slide. Going into turn 1, nearly lost the rear of the car. Jaime Moore had to check up a little bit, so wasn't able to carry that momentum to capitalize on that. Sorry to interrupt there, Brett.
No, that's okay. You know, watching. Oh, and another
and
mistake for
Moses takes it off as well. Yes. Hey, he didn't lose too much ground there. Thought he was going to hold on to that position, but Jaime Moore gets by, jumps up to third.
Yeah, Chris did a great job there. There's so little grip offline through that corner, so very well judged for Chris Moses, and he is far and away struggling the most of anybody in the top 10 in terms of pace.
That's pretty incredible how quickly the temperature's rocketing up now up to 121 degrees. These guys are going to have to worry about engine health as well, Brad. It's not only tire wear, it's
that's a good
life.
point. And you know what, Chris Moses, he has problems with that frequently in these very hot races. He likes to be pretty aggressive on those radiator openings out.
Yeah, I know. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Road America where he actually finished the race in the BMW. Similar conditions with very little to no engine life left. So his engine was ready to detonate.
Boy, watching some interesting developments go on a little further down the pack. Now Mike Trussler is actually starting to eke some time back onto Andres Prieto in ninth. I think Andres Prieto is starting to struggle a little bit, but that battle has become right together here with John Houston and Matt Taylor right in front of Andres Prieto.
Yeah, so Prieto has caught up to this fight. And hey, there's another scenario. So the top 3 in the team championships are battling it out. Actually, top 4. All of the top 4 teams. Just PMR, T-Brock, 05 Motorsports, and Team Columbia News. Both their first and second drivers are all in the mix here in the top 10.
Yeah, well, that's why they're there in the first place, because these are the guys that have really put their work in and have shown the best speed over the course of the season. We're halfway through here, and this is far from decided, these championship fights.
Big lurch there from Taylor. Lost a little bit of time to Houston. But yeah, you're right. Trussler is really starting to pick up, close back in on Prieto for that 9th position.
Yeah, and that's what caught my attention. I saw Mike Trussler there in the top 10, and so it's not only been a great race for him, but he is showing some great pace here over some of these very speedy veterans.
I'll tell you what, it looks to me like the Porsches are managing their tires well in this heat and late in the stints.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to have a fuel advantage in the pits as well. No doubt the Porsches can make it 2 stops if they wish, or they can take short fuel on stops if they come in on lap 20.
Cuppet has been able to... Oh, Cuppet actually has gotten past... Oh, I'm sorry. Monroy has gotten past Greg Myers for 12th, so now Cuppet is under pressure now for Monroy, as Monroy's making a good charge through the field as well. Monahan remains in 14th. He's been in that position much of the race. Triana 15th and Marty Eiran in the last points paying position. Kurt Chandler not far off of Marty. Kurt, his team currently, Desert Dog Racing, currently 5th in the championship, and both drivers currently out of the points. So if you're just tuning in with us tonight, you're watching live coverage of North American Grand Prix GTR2 GT2 Championship from Interlagos. Round 5. It is a 2-hour affair. And it's been a very, very close fought battle up and throughout the grid here tonight. It's been a great race so far, Brad.
Yeah, it has, and none better than right for those top spots. Jaime Moore, Chris Moses, and David Poole have all come back together now, and so they're fighting over that podium spot here early in this event. And interesting note, as I watch that battle, John Wooten now has started to slip off the back bumper of Eiran Parsons, but both those guys continue to pull away from third place Jaime Moore. So quickly things have changed a little bit here in the last couple laps in terms of on-track pace.
Alex White now looking to put the moves on Ryan Schleif for 21st. So among the 4 Porsche drivers out there tonight, Alex White looks to be having the hardest time of it, making his way through the field, and I'm just surprised to see him that far back.
Yeah, you'd think now that the field has gotten spaced out a little bit, he would have had an easier time making his way through the field, but yeah, it just hasn't happened. And I wonder if he's picked up some damage that is holding that Porsche back a little bit.
Further back, we got Calderon in the middle of a fight here between himself, John McIntyre, and Connor Swain back at 25th. On board with Swain. Johnny Mac having a look on the inside of Calderon. And Calderon with the nice up and under, over under, whatever you call it. McIntyre outbreaks himself, and Calderon says, "I'll take that back, thank you." Sweet.
Okay.
Now having a look on the inside of McIntyre. Johnny Mac hangs on to it.
Yeah, sorry, Al. Great battle you're watching there. We are at lap 20 now, so if the guys are going to run 3 stops here, they're going to start filing into the pit.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about this, the league, is we have, we see the battles way up front, but we got a battle here for 28th between Mascarelli, Gratrix, Rodriguez, Halili, and Jared Keane back in 32nd. All fighting nose to tail. And Halili looks like he's suffering from some lag issues there. Alright, so we're approaching the pit window for these guys as the leader is approaching that battle I just talked about. So, now might be a good time for some of them to jump into the pits rather than be hung up or caught up in something between those guys.
Yeah, good point. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen anybody dive into the pits yet with the heat. I don't know, maybe everybody's thinking they're going to try for 2 stops. Ooh, Matt Taylor had a bit of a lag lockup. So, yeah, I'm a little surprised to see that. If they don't come in another lap or 2, then there aren't going to be many guys going for a 3-stopper.
I don't see anybody diving into the pits just yet. I'll tell you what,
these guys...
Ooh, as one of the Cadillacs takes it off, as Jaime Moore had, as Moses had that off, a couple laps ago. Looks like he's got it back together here. Back on Jaime Moore's tailpipe.
Yeah, and this battle has been going on now for 3 or 4 laps, this tight, lap after lap, but Moses can't do much with the Viper down the straight, and the Porsche can't do much with the BMW down the straight, so they're all kind of following Jaime Moore's lead at the moment.
Bit of a moment there for Joe LaCour as he nearly gets run into by Honeycutt.
Yeah, Ian kind of turning laps there in a quiet 6th place, and that is much better than his qualifying race that we saw. He had struggles in that race, but here has found himself a little pocket of serenity there in 6th place.
Honeycutt takes it off into the grass. He's in a tough spot there in the middle of these lead cars.
Boy, he sure is, and nobody has come into the pits yet, so... Apparently, I think most of these guys have decided on a 2-stop strategy now. They can come in at any point here and then take a short fill for their last stop if they wish, so strategy options still available.
Yeah, so it looks like the top 10 is staying out.
Boy, These guys have gotten smarter and smarter here at the NAGP all the way down the field. They're gonna be taking close looks at how to maximize their strategy here in these races, and I think everybody's done their homework. Marty Eiran, however, has just come in from the 17th spot.
Ooh, Luden with a bit of a slide there. Yeah, so they're right in that pit window. So you said max distance is what, around 76 laps? You think this will
It's
go?
going to run 77, 78 perhaps.
Yeah, so they're in that...
Oh, it looks like, yeah, John Houston has
Ooh,
got
as Moses with a moment, it looks like he got caught up in lap traffic. Had a feeling that was going to happen. Dropped back down to 6th. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was
Got to be frustrated with that after that.
was starting to show pretty good speed now. He's dropped off some 14 seconds behind leader Eiran Parsons. That's time that can be made up, but it's going to be a battle.
As Moses dives into the pits now. Probably the best thing he could have done.
Definitely going to be 3 stops for Chris Moses, so he can take a short deal on his last stop, but he's not going to have a choice. Not going to be able to make it 2.
Looks like he's in on lap 24. So you said Marty Eiran came into the pit lane. He was the first of our guys to come in. Houston's still out. Preto's still out. Looks like Matt Taylor, as Preto has gotten around Matt Taylor. Monroy now up to 9th. Monroy's gotten past Trussler.
Yeah, Monroy's gotten past Trussler, and actually Matt Taylor has slipped a couple spots. I believe John Houston was behind him as well just a few laps ago. So Taylor may be struggling a little bit here, having some problem with lap traffic.
Wow, there's a lot of traffic out there. These guys dicing their way through.
Yeah, and this is going to be a concern now all the way to the end of this event. There's going to be lap traffic to deal with pretty much all the time.
Yeah, these guys are staying out. Joe LaCour has stayed out. Taylor comes into the pit lane. Poole is in. You surprised to see David Poole in that early?
No, on lap 25, the Porsche guys may yet be able to make it on 2 stops. I don't think Moses can, but I think the Porsche guys have a great shot to do it. I know the Porsches actually could have run a little longer, could have run a lap or 2 longer. I think. Yeah, so just take a look at the gaps at the front here. John Luden continues to give up just tenths here and there to Eiran Parsons out in front. That Eiran Parsons lead now about 2 seconds. Yes. So not very big.
No, not big at all. Lost dropped off a little bit there. I don't think. I think the lap traffic helped Parsons slightly. See what these guys elect to do. Is Parsons going to come in? Looks like Luden's going to come in. Parsons is in. Luden's going to stay out. Oh, it looked like he was thinking about it, but he stayed out. Looks like Trussler is in. So Luden takes over the lead. Jaime Moore stayed out.
Working lap 20.
Houston in. Preto is in. Preto hot into the pit lane. Heavy on the brakes. Greg Myers is in. His teammate Scott's going to stay out. Scott having a pretty quiet race. Was running 14th. But we'll have to see
actually made
what
up some
happens.
nice ground.
Yeah, he has, but we're gonna have to see what happens here after these pit cycles through. Triana in, Cuppets in. Sorry, that's Ryan. So Parsons is away. So he's going to rejoin in 15th.
Yeah, I'm watching John Luden now to see if he pops into the pits now. Not a lot of bays available here at this track, so some of these guys might want to pit a little earlier than they can. There may be somebody in their box. Luden stays out for another lap.
So Parsons comes out well ahead of David Poole. So it looks like Parsons really had a good stop there. Chris Moses, after his pits, he's about 4 or 5 seconds back of David Poole. Houston has made up a bit of ground. He's not that far off of Chris Moses. And Taylor comes out just behind of Houston. And Pareto. So all these guys looks like they have pretty good stops, Brad.
Boy, that was a good Houston stop. And looking at the numbers, I wonder if Chris Moses didn't miss his a little bit or something. Of course, well, he had that off before he came in. I guess that would have a lot to do with it, too.
So it looks like Jaime Moore has come in. Luden and Trussell are currently running 1 and 2. Ooh, his Trussell has just made a mistake. So that's going to be frustrating for him. That's moved Cuppet up to second, Monahan to third. Have to keep an eye on Luden here, see if he comes in this lap.
Yeah, I guarantee you there are some guys out there that have gotten caught out, have not been able to get that pit in verification because somebody was in their stall.
So yeah, it looks like he's
Luden
coming
is
in.
flashing.
Yep. Yeah, let him know he's coming in. So
Boy, this is a dangerous pit entry, by the way, Al. We didn't get to it in time, but it's very easy to come into this pit lane too fast.
looks like it's either Greatrix or Halili in the pits. McIntyre's in. Cuppet's on his way in. Monahan in. Ryan Schleif's he's already pitted.
Oh, Mike Trussler is showing up as an accident. A DNF for Mike Trussler.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Alex Scott into the pits.
I was just going to comment what great pace he was having.
Oh, Greg Myers back into the pits from 6. I thought I saw him come in earlier. Someone must have been in his pits. Oh, what a shame for Greg. Oh yeah, heavy damage to Trussler. So we'll see how what happens here between Parsons and Luden. Luden still in his pit bay. Oh wow, he's gonna beat Luden by a mile.
Oh yeah, Luden with some type
Bad
of
stop. Pole's gonna come out ahead. Luden just away now, so Chris Moses is gonna take over the 3rd spot, and he may even lose out to Joe LaCour. He will.
Wow.
What a poor start for Luden.
We've seen John Luden struggle in those pit stops in the past, Al. Looks like it's crept up again for him.
So Luden rejoins right ahead of Ian Joe LaCour. As guys are beginning to drop like flies here. John Houston now up to 6, having a tremendous run here. Oh, Matt Taylor makes a mistake. Might fall victim to Pareto now. Jaime Moore had a poor stop. Wow, he comes out behind John Houston as he pitted from 3rd. I'm sorry, I believe, right? Yeah, he was up to 3rd, pitted, rejoins at 7th.
So it looks like everyone on track has completed their pit stops. This is the running order as they run. Pretty close. Everybody pitting within 5 or 6 laps of each other anyway.
Yeah, you take a look at that gap now. 8 seconds between Parsons and Poole. The gap was about 2 seconds between Luden and Parsons before Parsons came in. But after Luden stopped, wow, he lost a ton of time.
Big advantage now for Eiran Parsons because he had a lot of pace on guys like David Poole and possibly Chris Moses as well. So John Luden now out of the picture a bit will allow Eiran Parsons to, I believe, escape. The temperature has not budged after rocketing up here, Al.
So the gaps between the top 3 is kind of spread out a little bit as Luden now running it in 4th. He's got Joe LaCour, who's back in 5th, closing up on him. John Houston, looks like he made a slight mistake there, but he's back on it. Jaime Moore in 7th. Taylor now in 8th. Breto 9th. Got Marty Eiran now back up to 10th. Marty was the earliest of our pitters now. I believe he pitted right around 14, 15, something like that. Now he's rejoined in 10th. Cuppin, he's in 11th. Alex White has somehow found his way up to 12th after languishing much of the first stint back in the 22nd, 23rd position. What a stop for White.
He's really made good use of the fuel economy on the Porsche. Al ran good laps. I mean, just hanging out, picked up a few positions before his stop and really did damage in the pits, saving some time with the fuel.
Triana 13th, Mike Monahan 14th. So Mike Monahan comes out where he came in at 14th. I think he's one of the only guys besides the leader who maintained his position after the pit stop. Alex Scott running 15th.
Well, now the race dynamic.
I was just going to say, welcome Browdy Max to the broadcast. How you doing?
Yeah, no doubt.
Go ahead, Brett.
I was going to say that the race dynamics now have really kind of entered our second phase here as the strategy now will become more and more important as opposed to the positions on track and trying to position yourself best for those pit stops. We will see some guys come together, but the gaps will tend to open up a little bit from here out.
So as we continue our rundown here, Kurt Chandler has found his way into the points, running 16th. We've had a flurry of disconnects here after that first stint, so some guys have dropped. Ryan Schleif, 17th. Greg Myers, after that, having to make that extra stop, rejoins in 18th. That's unfortunate for Greg. Wilkerson at 19th. Felipe Triana back in 20th. McIntyre running 21st. Connor Swain back in 22nd in that McLaren. Montgomery Jr. in 23rd. We got Gup Douglas running 24th. Galili back in 25th, and behind him Ken Rodriguez in 26th. Ratrix into the pits from 27th. Keane running 28th. Honeycutt 29th. Ascarelli in 30th, and that's it. I think we had 36, 37 guys start the race, and down to 30.
Yeah, I would say that's not too bad, though, on balance of everything. This is a very tough track, and with these temperatures and some of the tire woes these guys are having, I would say that hasn't been an overabundance of DNFs here tonight. So that battle really heating up now over 6th place. John Houston, we saw what a terrific speed he had late in that first stint, and still showing it over Jaime Moore. We know what kind of pace he's got. So for John Houston to be up there running this well, it's great. And then, of course, Andres Reza and Matt Taylor there, fighting over 8th and just behind. That battle rages as well.
Yeah, we just jumped on board with Houston. Jolicoeur up ahead there. Up ahead of Moore, running in 5th. Yeah, for those of you wondering, this is Monday Night GTR2 League here at North American Grand Prix GT2 Series. Thursday nights we run a set of Corsa League as well. GT2 cars, Corvette, Ferrari, BMW. Those races are broadcast as well, so you can tune in on Thursday nights and catch those at 9 Eastern. Ken Rodriguez, our broadcaster for those events. Go ahead, Brett.
I was just going to make a comment here, looking at the timing and score, and I might have to reverse my decision a little bit here on David Poole. You know, we saw him with a couple mistakes at first skid, and he eliminates those. He may actually have a pace on Eric Parsons late in this stint. Just made some adjustments in the pit, maybe played around with those tire pressures a little bit. David Poole can still do some damage here. Boy, those 05 Motorsports looking strong there in 2nd and 4th place.
Well, I'm bold with Jaime Moore now. He's going to have a run on Jolicoeur going into 1. Jolicoeur made a slight bobble there in the middle part of the track and allowed Jaime Moore to close the gap on Jolicoeur as they go side by side into turn 1. Slight contact there. Some more contact.
Jaime really need to understand there that Jolicoeur was not going to, was in a position there. He needed to back off and be way more careful. Too early in the race now to be that aggressive.
No, I agree actually with you, Brad. I think had to give Jolicoeur a little more room there.
Yeah, well, and the damage he's done has only been to himself here. He knows he's got pace. All he needs to do is run the car to the best of his ability, and things will work themselves out.
Ooh, it's a little more contact between him and Taylor as things start to unravel here for Jaime Moore.
Well, it's so easy to lose that concentration after making that type of mistake, and he made that teammate Andres Prieto through here. Andres Prieto, great pace that first stint, class of the field.
Matt Taylor has gotten past John Houston. Taylor with the big lag spike. Oh, there he pops back up again, and he's been suffering from some connection problems. We saw it last weekend on the Thursday night, where he had some serious connection issues. If I was Jaime, I'd be real careful tucking up behind him. Ooh, Jaime having a look underneath. Ooh, and Jaime turns it around. He recovered nicely, but
that was an awesome maneuver by Matt Taylor. You know, he sniffed that out right away, and he backed straight off, man. That was a very veteran move here for Matt Taylor.
Yeah,
that could easily have taken all 3 out.
Another risky move by Moore. Nearly got into his teammate. So note that Prieto in their channel and their voice comms are probably talking about that last instance.
I would be. Boy, the temperature has picked up another degree on track.
So Houston, the big benefactor there, picking up that position over Matt Taylor again. So Houston back in front of Taylor. So looking back out front, that gap still remains about 10 seconds between Parsons and David Poole.
You know, that gap actually has started to come down just a little bit now. David Poole picked up maybe a half second since those stops completed. So interesting there at the front. David Poole trying to hound down Eiran Parsons. Now you have that great battle we're watching there, so for some of the top spots, but good one going on here for 13th. Rodrigo Triana and Mike Monahan still battling it out. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed here with Mike Monahan. He has had some trials and tribulations in this race, but has put in a very good effort here to hang on to some quality points.
Yeah, he certainly has, and this battle between these two guys has, well, it's pretty much been like this much of the race. Monahan's still in that 14th position, really driving a nice race. And let's not forget, Monahan no stranger to success here at Interlagos. He actually won in, I believe it was a McLaren. Ooh, just as we talk about him, he takes it off into the grass. Looks like Scott's going to pick up a position on him, maybe. But Mike Monahan won a GT1 race here a few years back.
Yeah, sure did. And the thing that's really been impressive about this run to me is that the Panos does appear to be a bit off the pace, it has to be said. And Mike Monahan has found himself in a lot of traffic, but has handled it very well here. Not only this race, but last week's race.
So Monahan hangs on to that 14th position.
Boy, you know, another guy beginning to come through the field a little bit. Ryan Schleif now starting to make a little bit of noise here. Starting to sniff some points. Trying to gain ground on Curtis Chandler, who himself is putting in a pretty fine race, though teammate Salem Montgomery Jr. has not found the pace quite yet. Ooh, Gup Douglas showing up as a DNFL.
Oh, poor Guppa. Filling in for Johnny Lugnuts in that Cadillac. As we're watching this battle here between Alex White and Marty Eiran, Alex White really starting to make waves here after starting from the back, kind of languish in the back of the field much of the first stint. Has really got it together after that pit stop. It's really putting a lot of pressure on Marty.
Move up the field, and most of it did come on that stop. Speaking of stops, we actually are almost starting to creep into our next round here. After 10 laps or so, these guys are going to be starting that their second stop rotation.
Yeah, I didn't catch what lap those guys actually came in on. Was it around lap 26?
Most guys stop between lap 23 and 26, yep.
So see if White can make a move here on Eiran for 10th. Looks like Marty's going to hang on to it. Yeah, that bit spin for Marty early on in the first stint. That really cost him a bunch of time, fell back. I'm sure he would have been up there sniffing at the top 5, no doubt, if he had kept it together. But tough break, but he's recovered quite well. He's doing a good job here. Moved back up. He's in the top 10. Meanwhile, Matt Taylor putting more pressure on John Houston for that 6th position.
Yeah, putting more pressure on him, and Andres Pareto actually slipped back behind teammate Jaime Moore once again. That's a little distracting. You may already have mentioned it, but I just got it. David Bruno, very consistent laps. Eke out just the simplest margin over leader Eiran Parsons.
So Taylor having a look on the inside of Houston. Ooh, Houston's going to hang on to it. What a battle. These guys have been going at it. Oh, Houston, Taylor, sorry. Got a run off Houston. The end of the center S. He's going to have a look on him here at the turn 4. Looks like he's going to get it done. He gets the pass made. Nice job by Taylor. Jaime Moore looking to take advantage of Houston as well. Ooh, as Taylor takes it wide. Really gave that position back up. No doubt the best battle on track right now.
Yeah, these guys are putting in some serious work out there. Running this close is not as easy as it looks for this many laps, particularly with the track temperature at 122 degrees and the tires just screaming for mercy. This is one hell of a race these guys are putting on.
Back on board. Yeah, I'm not so sure if Moore looks like he probably has pace as he looks on the inside of John Houston. And he's going to get that pass made. So Houston's going to fall back 2 positions in a lap. So you got to wonder if he's struggling with the heat in that Mercedes.
I take it your pictures are still holding up okay for you, Al? Because it looks like I have locked up.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, looks like I'm probably hosed.
Oh, as Houston, with a big spin, big contact, loses his front bumper. Oh, and it looks like he's got a puncture as well. Oh, that's got to be infuriating for him. Oh, he comes out right ahead of Marty Eiran and Alex White as these two continue to go at it here. Oh, Houston, yep, he's got some serious damage to that that Mercedes.
There were a lot of marbles in play in that fight, Al, with the team classification and drivers' championship on the line, and that is a big blow.
Oh, Triana running wide there and got into the back of Houston, so that's not going to help either one of those guys out either. So Houston may still be able to salvage some points here. He's going to work his way back to the pits. Probably going to lose a lap, but it's not over for him just yet. He can fill it up, get back out there, just pound out some laps, and hopefully score a couple points. It's not going to be easy.
And this race does lead to quite a bit of attrition as well. So there's still plenty of positions to be gained, if for no other reason than because guys are going to be going out themselves.
So Monahan still holding position over Alex Scott. Monahan now running in 13th as these guys are having a nice fight. Triana has picked up some ground on Monahan after getting by, or after Monahan's mistake rather. So we talked about White and Eiran. What a battle these guys are having. It's been several laps now where White has been putting extreme pressure on Marty. Marty holding up well. Not folding. Doing a great job. Marty, a veteran here at NAGP, as White having a look on the inside. No. Marty, longtime veteran here at NAGP. Seasoned driver. He's used to this kind of pressure.
Yeah, certainly, and involved in a few championships himself. Now, just FYI, Al, it looks like I have lost my pictures. I'm locked up, solid, still in the server somehow. Don't know why that is. I'm not going to leave in case it happens to drop somebody, but
okay.
They actually officially already be out. So I'll do the best that I can with you here. But
let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like you're out. Felipe Triana coming up on timing and scoring with a engine failure. So there you have it, our first mechanical engine failure of the night, I'm assuming. I haven't. Ooh, Marty a little wide there at the exit of the center S, but he's going to hang on to that spot. Meanwhile, further up, it's Prieto. Jaime Moore has gotten past Matt Taylor for 6th. So we knew Jaime Moore had the pace. And it looks like Taylor and Houston, it looks like Jaime Moore had a little more pace than Taylor and Houston. Finally gets the pass made, and he's starting to pull away slightly from Taylor. Meanwhile, Prieto, who is now up to 8th after starting from the back because of his penalty, is really putting some pressure on Taylor for that 7th position. Let's jump on board with Prieto.
Well, what surprises me really is that Andres Prieto, after getting in front of Jaime Moore after that mistake, was trying to pull him away. So Andres Prieto is carrying some weight, and perhaps that's having an effect. But I was really surprised not to see Andres Prieto pull away from teammate Jaime Moore.
Well, you know, the thinking there possibly, you know, Jaime Moore has probably got pace over Andre. I mean, he could have asked Jaime to give up that position, but Andre probably would have just held him up. I'm not sure. I'd have, you know, you'd have to ask those guys, but you can see Jaime Moore starting to pull away slightly. But yeah, you're right. Prieto is carrying 50 kilograms of success ballast for tonight's race and doing a marvelous job here against two guys who are not carrying any weight at all.
Yeah, no doubt, and you know, pretty veteran move really. That he hasn't been pushing or running. Well, we don't know if he's run afoul of any other penalties here or anything during the race, but in any event, yeah, it's been a solid move.
Still on board with Prieto. Taylor in that T4. Prieto had a quick look on the inside. Trying to, ooh, Prieto, take a look on the inside of Taylor. Big slide. Taylor's going to hang on to that spot. Wow, nice attempt there from Prieto, but Taylor did a good job. Prieto again having a look on the inside. Ooh, a leg touch. Ooh, and Taylor goes off. Taylor's going to rejoin here. He's going to lose some time as he makes his way through the fields, and he comes back on. Still in 8th, but drops that position there. Yeah, I'm not sure. That move looked okay from my perspective there, but I'm sure Taylor might be thinking otherwise. Prieto got on the gas. The rear end came out, a little contact after that. Kind of upset Taylor's car. So it's Team Columbia Nui's running 6th and 7th at the moment. Jaime Moore in 6th, Prieto in 7th. And just ahead of them, we got Joe LaCour making his way through some lap traffic. Looks like Mascarelli and Wilkerson. So Joe LaCour running a very quiet race here tonight in 5th.
Yeah, once again, he found a little place to, a little patch of serenity for himself, and has just been putting in some solid laps. So, pretty good race for Ian, really.
So Ian trying to let Honeycutt know he's there. Let's take a look up front here take a quick look at the gap between our leaders. It's fallen down. It was up to about 10 seconds, now down to 6. So Poole starting to reel Parsons in here late, ever so slightly. Moses 10 seconds back of the leader, and Luden 12 seconds back. So Luden's starting to pick up some ground on Chris Moses for 3rd.
Yeah, he sure is, but I got to tell you, not as much as I thought he might. And I tell you something else, Chris Moses has actually gained a little bit on Aaron Parsons as well after those stops. About a second, but still nonetheless showing pretty decent pace, really.
Taking a quick look at the lap times. So in a couple, 3 laps here, these guys are going to be in their pit window. Some of these guys, and Moses nearly takes it off. And some of these guys will be pitting at around lap 46, between 46 and 50, I believe, 52.
Yeah, and for some of these guys, their next stop will be their last stop. So pretty critical for those guys to run a good stop.
Oh boy, as Lou turns into Jaime Moore. Oh, he's an adventure. Trying to get around some of these lap cars. Taylor still pushing here after that incident lap before, running in 8th. Alex White has made his way past Marty Eiran, is now up to 9th and closing in on Matt Taylor. So Matt Taylor, a big slide there on exit. White really laying it down here.
You know, and if there's one thing you could say, maybe that Alex White does not, one of the few things perhaps he does not do well all the time, and that is to stay out of trouble here, trying to, having to start from the back. Frankly, I mean, come on, the guy's just not used to it. I mean, how often does he have to start from the back? Sometimes he can get caught up with some of that traffic trying to get through, but so far so good for Alex White tonight. Very nice run.
Yeah, certainly. I gotta, you gotta wonder. I'm sure he had some trouble there early on. Some of those higher power cars going down the straight. That Porsche not as strong down the straight, so he probably struggled a bit trying to get around them on pure straight line speed. But he's come around here. He's done well, some DNFs, and he's finds himself in the top 10. So good run for him so far. So Marty back in 10th. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, Al, if you can confirm that I don't show up in the time to score.
No, I do not see you on here, Brad.
Okay, I'll go ahead and try to fix it here.
So Cuppet now running in 11th. Triana, followed by Monahan and Scott. So this battle here continues to push forward. I'll go with Alice Scott. So I'm going to do my best here as Brad has lost his connection to the server, so no way he can get back in. So I'll try and pick up all the close battles on track.
Yeah, don't have an extra set of eyeballs, which is unfortunate there for GTR2. Always helps, but you know, I don't generally lack for anything to say, Al. So anytime you need a breather, you just let me know.
Excellent. Ooh, as we have another another casualty from tonight's race. Not sure who that was that just disconnected, but
might have been me.
So Greg Myers now, after having to make one extra stop, finds himself in 15th, just ahead of Curtis Chandler. Kurt running in 16th in that Janetta.
And that Curtis has just been a dog there, just a bulldog fighting for that last point. He has been there all night and continues to be. So I'm really impressed with his run tonight as well.
Yeah, he's got it going tonight. Not as good as some of his other races this season, but still in the points. He's got Greg right up ahead of him.
I know you're trying to get to the field, but just one more point. You know, it's all about maximizing your relative speed. You know, maybe you're having an off pace that night, but as long as you can maximize what you got, that's always the key to this.
So we got Ryan Schleif just out of the points here, running in 17th. Dan Wilkerson back in 18th. Connor Swain running in 19th. Montgomery Jr. up to 20th. Rodriguez now, Thursday night broadcaster, running 21st. Jared Keane in the Sunred running 22nd. And Houston, after his accident, has come back out and is in 23rd. It's going to be an uphill climb for him, but given the rate of DNF so far, he could just as well find himself in the points, but highly unlikely at the moment for Houston, unfortunately, after such a great run.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, he has very good pace. He is going to pick up positions on track just through that, and he's going to have more strategy options. So he is going to have to make an extra stop here. Well, he already did, but of course on his last stop, he may be able to elect to double stint those tires, which of course won't be a full stint. They might hold up good for him, and he'll be taking less fuel as well. So not out of the picture yet.
He's going to factor that into the equation as Lou Mascarelli in 24th. Looks like that's Moses trying to get by. He does. And Honeycutt into the pits in 25th. And Those are our running cars right now. So we had a barrage of disconnects here, some accidents, engine failures, and some guys just threw in the towel.
Yeah, I'm watching here on the live timing, watching that gap down to Chris Moses come down a little bit, or John Luden closing that gap just a little bit. Nick as well, still hanging in there and taking out tenths where he can.
Yeah, so Eiran Parsons, so Moses has fallen back about down to 11 seconds from Parsons, was in the 10-second range. Meanwhile, David Poole is within 5 seconds now of Eiran Parsons. So Poole, that car is solid here late, as the Mercedes appears to be struggling here late in this stint. That Porsche really doing a great job here.
Yeah, I kind of thought that might be the case actually once I thought about it after their stops, and it has certainly proven to be true. Now, whether David Poole can get the pass done where John Luden could not, get all the way up there and get the pass done, we'll have to see, but certainly in a good position at the moment to do so.
So these guys have yet to pit. Let's take a look at the lap counter here. Yeah, we're right in that pit window.
So they'll want to make it all the way actually to lap 51 thereabouts to really assure themselves they're going to have the opportunity to make it just 2 stops for those guys.
So we're going to have to see what Moses does here, because if he pitted earlier, he got involved with some lap traffic before his first stop. I believe he pitted a lap earlier than his teammate. So I'm not sure if he can go the distance or not. He's really going to have to stretch it out, but he's got, John Luden now has really tightened up the gap. As you can see on track here, Luden all over the back of Chris Moses here for third.
Yeah, and it's hard to say how much Chris is really going to fight here. He usually does. He's pretty loath to give up any position on track at any time. But yeah, let's conservative here going into these pit stops. The Porsches, of course, we've cataloged pretty well. They're lack of straight line speed, and BMW will have pretty good pace over the Porsche at the straight.
Yeah, so Moses is going to stay out. Along with John Luden. Stay on board here with Luden.
Yeah, you can do that. Boy, Parsons takes that slip on here a little bit this second stint. More than it did the first stint at this lap, you know.
This part of the track is really strong for the Porsche. This middle portion of the track really closing up a lot of time on Moses through here.
Yeah, probably worth pointing out, John Luden actually does have the fastest lap in this race at a 1:31.9.
Right here is where the Beamer takes it all back. The Porsche cannot hang with this BMW down the straight. This goes back to what I was saying about White. Oh, looks like Moses is going to bring it into the pits. He does. So Moses is in. Poole is in.
Real quick follow-up.
Sorry, Poole is in. Looks like Mike Monahan in. Parsons is in. So here's the stop for the race right here, Brad. We're going to keep our eye on these two. Poole and Parsons. Moses is going to come in right between the two as Monahan makes his way out. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess they feel that they can make it from here. I would have guessed that they would have had to stop more toward lap 51, but if they're coming in, they think that they can make the distance from here. And if they're out on track, they know what the timing is out there, so they feel pretty confident they can make it, and so I will be too.
Joe LaCour in the pits. Parsons has got the car fired up. Moses on the jacks, it looks like, early. Ooh, Parsons is down. He's away. Ooh, Poole is away. So Poole with a good stop. We'll have to see what the timing is. Parsons had a straight shot out of the pit lane. Poole had to make his way around Moses. Moses is away. So Poole losing a slight bit of time there on exit of the pits. But I'll tell you what, Poole sees him in the distance there, so that's good. Let's see that gap.
Yeah, the Porsche should have gained a bit of an advantage there on the pit stops with some fuel economy.
Yeah, it's only about 5 seconds, so great stop from David Poole.
Boy, Eiran's really going to have to be watching his mirror now from this point on. It was about 5-6 seconds gained by David Poole there in that second stint.
Prieto in. Ooh, in hot. Wow. Oh my God, he came in really quick. He nearly got into the wall. He'd be lucky if he doesn't get a stop and go for that.
That's so easy to do here, Al. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier.
Wow. He came in real hot. I don't know how he saved that. Amazing. So Jaime Moore has stayed out. Let's see. Cuppet, Triana, they're going to stay out. Cuppet tends to stay out late.
Yeah, well, we see that in the past. You're absolutely right.
So Triana now in 4th. Parsons 5th. Let's see what happened. Marty in the pits. Let's take a look at Prieto here. So Moses gets past Prieto. So Prieto is away. See, Jolie Core got out ahead of Andre, so great start from Ian. See how everybody shakes up here after this pit cycle. We're gonna have to keep an eye on Prieto because he came into the pits really hot. So if he pulls back into the pit lane, then that means he's gotten a stop and go for speeding.
You know, he wasn't sliding too far past the line. I think Andres Prieto will be okay.
Connor Swain, 11. Taylor, I believe Taylor has already pitted, but he's come out just behind Connor Swain. Connor Swain still needs to come into the pits, but Taylor looks like he's going to get by okay. Not going to lose too much time there. Follow Prieto here. I'm just curious to see what happens if he stays out.
Yeah, well, it's worth keeping an eyeball on for sure. That would be a pretty big mistake, no doubt. As memory serves, actually, the pit limit place where it cuts you off for those speeding pit lanes is relatively generous here.
He's in the pits. Myself. No, he's not. Sorry.
Oh!
No. False alarm. All right, so
I made the same mistake myself here. Yeah.
He got away with one there as Jaime Moore. He's beaten out his teammate Moore by a mile. So that was a great stop from Prieto. And it looks like Matt Taylor's going to beat Prieto out. He does. Ooh, this is going to be close. It's going to be a drag race. It's going to be advantage Taylor. So Taylor picks up that position over Jaime Moore. So good stop from Taylor. Looks like Moore lost out there in the pit cycle. So, Brad, looks like this
Yeah,
field
sure
is going to
did.
be good to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, this is it. Everybody has completed their stops, and this is a race to the end now. And let's just see who has been holding a little bit left in the back in the tank to make the late push here. This is on the marbles.
Well, this guy is David Poole. We're going to have to keep our eye on him because as that Mercedes starts to languish here late in the stint, David Poole has remained strong, and he's been able to chew away at that gap from Parsons, and it's going to be a close finish here as long as everything stays the way they are now.
Yeah, pretty fascinated myself to see what happens with that battle, and of course the ones throughout the rest of the field. There is actually some heck of battles going on, really, still for that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way to 10th place.
Yeah, Joe LaCour running in 5th. He's got a bit of a gap over Prato. So Joe LaCour has been pretty quiet all night in that 5th position. Prato in 6th, Taylor 7th, Jaime Moore in 8th. Connor Swain running in 9th. I don't know if he's pitted or yet not. Alex White in 10th.
No, Connor Swain has not pitted.
Okay, so Connor Swain still has to come in, so Alex White's going to be up to 9th. And Marty Eiran should be your top 10 after Swain comes in. Cuppet rejoins in 12th, right ahead of Mike Monahan again. And Rodrigo Triano losing out on that pit stop. He was up ahead of I believe, both Cuppet and Monahan, but rejoins several seconds behind those two guys. So, wow, poor stop for Rodrigo. And the taxi service here. Greg Myers up to 15th and Alex Scott running 16th. So these two guys, these teammates, both running into the points. So a tough break for Greg, though, for sure, after he had to make that one extra stop. Ryan Schleif,
Yeah, no doubt.
one spot out of the points at 17th. Kurt Chandler running 18th. So Kurt Chandler might be on the outside looking in here after all is said and done.
Well, you mentioned Greg Myers. He is going to have to peel off for another stop here, most likely. And so he's not quite out of it yet, but he did lose out of position to Ryan Schleif.
Yeah, I think Greg might be good to go, to be honest with you, but I'm not 100%. Montgomery in 19th. Montgomery Jr. running 19th. Wilkerson in 20th. John Houston now in 21st. Rodriguez running back at 22nd. Keynes there in 23rd. And Mascarelli 24th. We got Honeycutt also running, still in here, running at 25th.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the names toward the bottom of the list that really pops out at me is Salem Montgomery Jr. I mean, where the heck has he been tonight? Salem showing some great speed over the course of this season at the midpoint, but just has not gotten anything together here tonight.
Yeah, he's. I know he's carrying some penalty weight for tonight's race, and it just appears that Janetta is not just struggling here tonight with the heat and the weight. Well,
it's worth mentioning, Salem Montgomery Jr. came into this race second in points. So, Andres Preto languishing back a bit to Eiran Parsons, but not as far back as Salem Montgomery Jr. I mean, boy, that's a big hit for Salem.
All right, so here's a battle on track between Chris Moses and John Luden. Luden has, again, closed up on Moses. These two were very close before pit stops, and they're very close again after their stops. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these guys, as this is a critical position here for this race. Last step on the podium, and without a doubt the closest battle on track at the moment.
Yeah, I tell you, these laps are actually going to start to wind down faster and faster for these guys as they try to nurse these cars through. get moving if you can.
So I got a feeling this is going to be a bit frustrating for John. There's going to be some sections where that Porsche is a lot better than the BMW, but down the straight, this Porsche cannot hang with that car in terms of straight line speed. Got some lap traffic up ahead. Jaron Keane in front of Moses. Moses is going to look to make his way by him as quickly as possible. And then just ahead of them is Ken Rodriguez. As Jared takes it well off. Right here is where the Porsche really comes to life against this BMW.
Well, in some ways, Al, it's actually a little easier to see the gaps further down the field here on the live time. So John Houston has started to work his way back past a few guys here, and has actually got a few positions in front of him. He could get all the way up here to 18th. And a couple more positions dropping out. Matt Taylor will find himself back in the points.
This is a close exit here for Luton. He just cannot get tucked underneath that BMW.
Well, you have to say he probably will find a way past. I mean, there's still plenty of laps left for him to do it here. And I got to think that he will find a way past. But nobody's.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Al. Nobody's giving up positions at this point. If you're holding a position from the guy in front, you're going to try to keep holding on to it.
So these guys are approaching some more lap traffic here. It's Ken Rodriguez up ahead in the Aston. So very close fight here for that third position. Luton just, he's going to have a hard time getting by. Unless Moses makes a mistake or opens a door somewhere, it's going to be very difficult. We got this lap car up ahead here. Rodriguez should not be a factor. Surprised Cuppet does not, Luton does not stay behind Moses. Try and catch some of that draft. Kind of interesting the way he exits. He goes down that straight.
Yeah, I was noticing that myself.
But Moses, for the meantime, hanging on to that position. Let's see what we can find here further back. Joe LaCour all alone here in fifth. So, as Taylor takes it off, we just picked it up. I'm not sure if him and Prato had a coming together. I think Taylor's parked it. Yep, I think he's parked it. Oh, yep, coming up as a DNF. Wow. Stunning turn of events here. As Taylor just goes nose first into the wall in the center S and is out of the race. Just like that. Devastating blow to PMR. They needed those points if they wanted to stay out in front in terms of the team championship. The only thing going for them right now is that Houston, currently outside of the points, on the outside after his accident. However, 05 Motorsports is going to pick up big time on both those teams if they stay the way they are. And Team Columbia Newies as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Now, John Houston, again, he will be able to get himself to the first car on the lead lap, and that's real close to the points. So I think he will find himself a couple points here by the end of this race, but it's not going to be what they could have had.
Oh, as Luden has made his way past Chris Moses. Unbelievable. So Luden gets past Moses for third. And just so we picked up that action, and just when we picked it up, Luden made his move. So I apologize for that. But you can see right away now Luden's starting to pull away slightly here from Chris.
Yeah, picked up on my late pictures here on your broadcast. Actually, Luden giving the quick flash there. Moses might have made it easy on him. Luden might have gotten a good position, and Moses didn't fight too hard there. But for whatever reason now, it is John Luden. You got to think with the kind of pace he's showing that he will be able to pull away from Chris Moses.
Let's take a look at the gap between our two leaders, now down to 2 seconds. David Poole, keep in mind, had a incident early on in the first stint with an off. For the most part, Parsons has been running a very clean race, but I don't believe Parsons has been involved in anything or any mishaps. But Poole did have a slight bobble there early on, lost a bunch of time, but man, he is flying.
Yeah,
Gap
Aaron's
is only
just
2
not quite able
seconds.
to
Sorry, go ahead.
hold. No, it's okay. Aaron Parsons just not quite able to hold his times in the 32s consistently. In each of these stints, he's dropped off into the 33s much quicker than the Porsche.
So Poole trying to make his way past Mascarelli here. He does. As Parsons has some lap traffic just ahead of him. Telling you, this is going to come down to the wire between Poole and Eiran Parsons.
Yeah, it may. I don't know, though. There's still actually a few laps to run here, so a good 15 laps or so for these guys. I think Poole has a great opportunity to get by in pretty easy fashion.
Yeah, he's really starting to close up the gap. Let's take a quick look downstream. So, Reto leading his teammate Moore. White now up to 8th. Marty, bit of a moment there, running 9th. And Cuppet and Monahan running 10th and 11th. So those guys starting to close up on Marty Eiran. Keep an eye on those guys a little later. Triana running in 12th. We got Greg Myers running 13th. Ryan Schleif back in 14th. Kurtz made his way back into the points at 15th. And Scott in the last points paying position in 16th. Montgomery Jr. run one spot out of the points for Salem. Houston 18th, couple spots out. Got Connor Swain behind him at 19th. Got Wilkerson followed by Rodriguez. Keene in 22nd. Mascarelli, and that's it, folks. Everybody else is out of the race. So, quite a bit of attrition here tonight.
Yeah, it has, and
you got to keep in mind too, Brad. This is, this is a new this 5th race. It was never a endurance race, so new to the season 25, a 2-hour endurance. A lot of guys aren't accustomed to these 2-hour races, these endurance races. You know.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and it will probably catch some of them off guard. It's a hard adjustment. I mean, for these guys at a typical hour race length, it's 100% increase, right? So, absolutely, it's going to have an effect on some of these guys.
Yeah, some of these, someone like Poole, the guys up front, ran a lot of GT1 where it was 90-minute races and 3-hour races. Kind of used to this, but some of these other guys, it's believe it or not, it can be a strain on your shoulders, and after a while.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I'll never forget the 3 hours at Sonoma in GT1. I had a battle with Houston for pretty much the whole race, and when I was done, my shoulders were cooked.
I about died at Circuit of the Americas in the Worcester.
That was torture. That was 3 hours of pure hell. I've never.
I love those 3-hour events, though, Al.
Well, some of them were great, you know, but some of them were just Ooh, as looks like Schleif takes it well off. Looks like he's got it back together. That was a big moment for him. You see that gap between first and second. It's just a couple seconds here. Take a quick look at this Cuppet and Monahan battle. Pretty static at the moment as Monahan's he's been running close to Cuppet most of the night, but just unable to really get too close to him to make to have any kind of look. I think that Corvette's just a little bit better in the infield sections through these corners. Panos probably slightly better down the straight, but just Mikey not getting a good enough run on him to make a move on Cuppet.
Yeah, no question, but it's still been a very nice run for Mike Monahan, being able to, he's picked up positions here over the course of this event, so it's only been one or two here or there, but it's been enough where it's turned into added up to a very solid run for him.
I'll tell you
now,
what.
it should be noted as well.
Go ahead, Brett.
Sorry, real quickly, it does look like Alex White is picking up a little bit of time on Jaime Moore. I think that's going to be a battle here before too long.
Yeah, he certainly is, as Jaime Moore was dealing with some lap traffic. White now really close behind, catching up to him in 8th. Connor Swain splitting these two guys. Swain a lap down. So Jaime Moore had a great start to this race. Was running in 3rd early on. Kind of came unglued a little bit in the second stint. Had a couple run-ins with Taylor and Houston. And then had a really bad second stop. Came out behind his teammate, lost a bunch of time. Now finds himself trying to hold off Alex White for that 7th position. So back out front. So go ahead, Brett.
Sorry, I got to that a little late, Al. I was just going to say that Alex White will be in full push mode here, and I think he's going to have a pretty good shot at trying to get that position by the end of this one.
The gap, Parsons' gap over Poole has increased slightly. Was down to 2 seconds, now a little over 3. So looks like some of the lap traffic might have slowed David Poole up slightly.
Yeah, I think so.
But looks like Parsons has lap traffic just ahead of him. So both guys dealing with the same thing. So White gets past Swain and making his way past Ken Rodriguez. So now he's in full attack mode, trying to catch up with Jaime Moore. While we watch this battle, I'm going to step away for one moment, Brad. Sorry. I got to wet my whistle.
Yeah, no problem, Al. I'll fill in the best I can. I have lost my pictures to the server, unfortunately, once again, so I'm not in there at the moment. I'm having to keep abreast of all the action out on track with the timing and scoring button, which you yourself can check in with there toward the bottom of your broadcast picture, so the live timing and scoring will keep you apprised of the action all the way throughout the field if we can't quite get the pictures on there for you. It has been a pretty interesting race. Once again, we knew that those gaps would open up over the course of this 2-hour endurance event, but nonetheless, it hasn't dulled the action out there on track all the way as we begin to close out this 2-hour race here. So position's still up for grab, none more important really than the lead of this race. David Poole is closing up on Eiran Parsons. And that is yet a fight very much engaged here. And in doubt over who's going to pick up this win. And you know, Eiran Parsons will maybe not be tremendously gutted to lose that possible win here tonight, but it's going to be a disappointment for him after putting in all that effort at the front. I don't think there's a lap in this race he has not led, minus maybe one or two where he has had to come into the pits and somebody took over there for a while in the lead.
All right, thank you, Brad. I am back. So White really putting some intense pressure on Jaime Moore. Moore had a big slide, exit of turn 4. Really allowed White to close up on him. You see the gap there. It's just inches between the two. Really nice exit here.
Yeah, and if you're Alex White, you have to be a little concerned here. We've seen Jaime Moore make some very aggressive moves in this race, and Alex White certainly doesn't want to see any of those. And even if Alex White gets past the Viper here in the infield section, you got to worry about the draft from that Viper coming up on the course. A big speed differential coming down the straight.
White tucked up underneath that Viper as he head down the main straight. That Viper pulling away slightly.
Any draft that Alex White can hold on to is going to help him.
Still can't get over this temperature, Brad. Nothing has changed here. Oh.
Amazing.
Oh wait, there's got to be a timing glitch here. Oh, for a second there, I keep seeing David Poole way back, but he is not.
Yeah, it's been happening to him the whole race.
Yeah, it's just
very strange.
Just caught me off again. Very strange. Yeah, but this battle here. Jaime Moore really sliding that Viper around. I think White's sniffing blood here. He sees he sees an opportunity here. He's definitely going to take it. It's just a matter of being able to get by without any incident.
Well, the laps are starting to wind down, and the longer he stays behind that Viper, the harder it's going to be for him, man. That he's got to get it down on the infield and then hope he can stay away down the straight. It's going to be a tough task for him.
It's really close now as we head down the straight. Just Porsche just doesn't have the legs.
I tell you, I know for a fact Alex White is really trying to put as much heat as he possibly can on Jaime, try to force that mistake.
And Jaime, I think, just forced it. He did it. He did it. So Jaime, White putting the pressure on Moore, and Jaime looped it into one. Wow. I think Jaime was looking too much into his mirrors there. Saw a mirror full of Porsche. Wow. That was a great job by White.
And really, that was his best option, is to really just put as much heat on him as he possibly can. Maybe even dart in and out, take different lines, try to get him to watch those mirrors, because it would have been very difficult for him to get past the Viper otherwise.
Well, the gap, there you have it, 1.7 seconds. Taking a look at the timing here, we got working lap 68.
Yeah, David Poole isn't going to have any pressure options if he gets up to Eiran Parsons. Eiran Parsons is going to be absolutely unflappable in terms of what David Poole may be doing behind him. Whole different scenario for these two guys.
So we're working lap 68. We got about 10 minutes to run here.
Yeah, they are really winding down now.
And there is no traffic for the time being between these two guys. So this is going to allow Paul to really put the hammer down and try and make a move on Parsons. Paul's got 20. Parsons has 21 seconds over his teammate in third. That battle between Moses and Luden is only 2 seconds separating those two guys, so they're in a close fight as well. Kind of surprised Luden hasn't stretched out that lead after getting by Moses
Yeah, me too. I don't know what the deal is with that, but maybe a little light there for Chris Moses. Maybe he figures, well, the tiniest mistake or something happens, maybe I can try to force an issue there for John.
We're on board with David Poole. See the gap here. This is for the lead of this race. It's been 1 hour and 50 minutes.
David Poole's still running in the 32s, and when he does have clear traffic in mid-32s even, so definitely on the pace.
Riding along with David Poole. Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, watching that battle and taking a look at time and scoring throughout the field. There's still positions to be decided down through the field. So Curtis Chandler and Ryan Schleif, a couple of those positions. Gregory and Triana still going at it as well.
Can close the gap up on this Mercedes down the straight.
Yeah, for David Poole, obviously. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I'm surprised that the Porsche is hanging a bit better down the straight with the Mercedes as opposed to some of these other cars. You saw the Porsche languishing a bit against the bike.
Well, a lot of it. Yeah, a lot of it comes down to being able to get off turn 12. Obviously, David Poole's getting to that corner very well. It makes a huge difference. You can carry a lot of momentum through that turn 12. And David Poole has shown that in not only here tonight, but in that qualifying race as well. He gets to that exceptionally well. If you're David Poole, obviously you want to make the pass as early as you can, but it's going to be important for him here because the later we get into this race now, only a handful of laps left, Eiran Parsons is going to fight harder and harder the shorter those laps get.
David Poole now really closing in on Parsons. Just a handful of laps to go in this race. Round 5 from Interlagos. Season 25. Turning out to be another great event here at NHUP.
You're absolutely right, and Chris Moses he is back into the 32s himself, so he has really stomped on it as much as he possibly can. He's trying to get as much heat on the loop.
Something tells me that he might have dialed it back a little bit due to the heat. And then now that he knows he can probably get away with some stuff, he's probably really put the hammer down.
He may have been suffering some motor issues, trying to save that motor for the end of this race out. That could be absolutely right.
So
5 or 6 laps to go now.
Yeah, it's one thing to catch up to somebody; it's another thing to get around them. So Poole's been catching up with, trying to catch up to Parsons for most of the night, at least since the end of late in the second stint to the start of this one here. It was as high as almost 10 seconds. Now, well, just hundreds of a second between each other.
Yeah, and that's something we have to be keeping note of. Kind of mentioned it there early, but motor issues could be a concern for some of these guys, and why these gaps have opened and closed as they have. I'll shut up now so you can watch this great action.
No, by all means, chime in. Back on board with Poole on the exit of turn 12.
Yeah, my picture's of course a little bit behind, so I don't have the up-to-date action.
So we got the lap car little up the road there. Looks like that's Honeycutt. We saw that move by White on Jaime Moore. Ooh, as Parsons and that tail of that Mercedes has come around. Looks like more of a controlled slide than anything else, but I saw White put the pressure on more and more flat, but you're not going to see that here from Parsons. His Poole has a look on the inside, quickly closing up on that lap Viper.
Yeah, Parsons about as cool as they come. It's going to have to be a clear overtake position for David Poole. He's just going to have to get the job done and make sure he's clean.
Nice job by Honeycutt there, getting out of the way. Take a look at the timing, working lap 72. Got about a couple laps to go here. 2 or 3 laps still. Back on board with Poole. Poole looks like he lost a little bit of ground here with that lap car.
Boy, and if, you know, you're David Poole, you're thinking here early in this event, you know, you had a little bit of a mistake. He was running there all the way back in 5th position, had a bunch of cars in front of him, has just fought his way back here, and now with just a handful of laps after a whole 2 hours of this very tough Interlagos circuit and horrible temperatures to find yourself now battling for the lead here. What an amazing run both these guys have put up.
Really closing up the gap on Parsons. More clear track ahead for these guys. So lap traffic should not be an issue here as this race closes out.
Well, something always comes up the last couple laps.
I wonder if Poole's going to take a risk. He's going to throw it in there. He's going to have a look on the inside. Ooh, with the short shift there through that kink.
Boy, in the desire department, I got to think David Poole is wanting this one a bit more than Eiran Parsons. Doesn't hurt Eiran so much to finish second here in the overall standings, but this win probably means a little bit more to David Poole as the season goes forward here. Not only in terms of points, but just his overall position in the standings.
Ooh, Poole with a bobble. Didn't lose too much ground there, but still a slight little mistake from David. Gonna lose some time. Let's quickly look behind here. Chris Moses all over the back of John Luden for 3rd, so Luden succumbing to pressure here. So very close battles for the podium.
Yeah, and you have to say now, that definitely looks like Chris Moses was having to save a little bit of motor here to get to the end.
Ooh, Parsons with a big slide. Poole nearly takes advantage. Moses still pressuring John Luden for that 3rd spot. Battle for the win here at Interlagos.
Yeah, just a couple laps left.
Yep, Parsons hangs on to that position going into 1. Working lap 75. Quickly back and forth between the battle for 1st and the battle for 3rd.
Yeah, I think this could very well be our last lap. I don't think it's going to go more than 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. Wow, it's amazing how he was able to close up all this time on Parsons, but just cannot make his way past. A little bit of a moment there for Poole. Ooh. Poole has lost a bit of ground here. He needed to be closer.
Yeah, despite all the pressure put on by David Poole, Eiran Parsons still in the mid-33s, so just turning very good, solid, consistent laps here as he's trying to fend off this David Poole charge.
So as we come down to the wire here, it looks like Parsons going to hang on to this. Parsons, this is going to be the last lap. We come to the stripe. Yep, that's it. Eiran Parsons going to hang on to the win. What a finish. Poole second. Just could not get it done. Ooh, must have been a moment there for Moses, as Loon's going to hang on to third. So great job by 05 Motorsports, finishing second and third. Moses is going to take fourth. Preto is going to come home with a top 5, and Alex White, who really struggled in the first stint, manages to finish in 6th. Amazing.
Best lap of the race out.
Both these guys, Preto started from the back, as well as White taking 5th and 6th. Great job by both those two. Ian Joe LaCour is going to finish 7th. Jaime Moore is going to take 8th. Marty Eiran is going to finish in 9th. I think Marty might be our last lead lap car. Nope. Ooh, Monahan got past Cuppet. Going to take 10th. Cuppet 11th. Triana is going to finish in 12th. And Greg Meyer is going to finish in 13th. Big result for Greg after having that extra stop to finish on the lead lap. Great job by him. So there you have it. Our finishers here on the lead lap. Let's see if we can have a word with Parsons here. Eiran Parsons, do you copy?
I do, Al.
Alan Brad here in the broadcast booth. Congratulations on what a race tonight we witnessed. You had a great first stint holding off John Luden. Then that second stint, you were kind of out on your own for a little bit. David Poole slowly creeping up on you, and then there at the end, Poole all over the back of you. You did a great job hanging on to that.
That was a brutal race. Very intense. I took my radiator was too closed up, and my engine was overheating the entire race. So I actually finished the last lap with 0% engine left.
Unbelievable.
So I was sweating bullets when David Poole was closing me up there at the end. That was very difficult.
Wow, that is actually pretty amazing there to be able to hold off that charge by David Poole, showing much better pace there in that last stint, having some motor problems. It was one of the Porsches harassing you for most of the event, either Luden or David Poole, but in the end you managed to hang on here and sweep all the points available here in our qualifying race and our feature race. So that's got to feel good, pretty good going forward.
Yeah, it feels good. Unfortunately, John had some problems in his race, so I don't think he finished in the points, but it was a good race for me. And really nice racing with John and David there. It was good stuff by them.
So I got to ask you about going back to the heat, and how did your car, in terms of your tire wear, were you really struggling there at the end of your stints? Because it seemed like the Porsche was a bit better late compared to you and most of the other guys on track.
Yeah, I was struggling. I think most of the top 5 were struggling on tires because the the tyres were basically overheating the entire race. I assume David Poole would have taken hard rears on the Porsche, which probably helped a little bit, because I noticed on the second stint, on the third stint, he closed me down pretty handily across the whole stint. So yeah, that was on top of the engine. I had to manage the tyres as well, which wasn't easy.
Well, you did a phenomenal job to come away with the win after getting all that information and dealing with that engine about to blow and overheat. So that was a great job, Eiran, and congratulations on the win tonight. And we move next week to your home track at Bathurst. How do you feel going into that one, carrying all that weight and trying to make your way up and down that crazy mountain?
Well, it's my favourite track in the world, along with Nordschleife, so hope to do okay. Probably won't be competing for the win with the weight, but hopefully finish maybe around top 5. Hope for the best.
All right, well, congratulations again, and good luck next week at Bathurst, Eiran.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Brad.
I don't know where to put him. I couldn't find his channel, but all right. Well, there you have it, Brad. What a race here tonight. Incredible finish. We had pretty much battles all the way through these 2 hours, and turned out to be a great event, and unbelievable that he was able to finish with 0 engine health with all that heat and all that stuff going on.
You know, you wouldn't think you'd see guys running that close at the end of 2 hours and all those kilometers run, but we see it time and time again in these endurance races. So these guys flat know how to get it done and how to be there at the end, and that's what makes them so competitive and fighting for these championships over the course of all these seasons. Now, a very good night here for Eiran Parsons in terms of the driver championship. So Andres Prieto finishing a little bit back as our points leader now. Eiran Parsons is going to close right up, and Salem Montgomery Jr. dropping out, but Chris Moses earning some good points as well. And so this once again, we have some flip-flops going on in our points, and it's going to be even tighter, oddly enough, going into next week's race, with the exception of 05 Motorsports picking up just a pile of points for that team.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event next week, and hopefully you guys can all tune in starting at 9 p.m. next Monday night for round 6 from Bathurst. So that's always an exciting run there. Great track and great to broadcast. So until then, we'll be at Silverstone for our Assetto Corsa Thursday Night League for round 4. Ken Rodriguez bringing you the broadcast for that event, so hopefully you guys can tune into for that. So until next week, Brad, thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next Monday.